Welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars, the home of the reveals that make your heart race and your timeline explode. Tonight we bring you the kind of revelation that shatters the calm like a midnight thunderclap, the headline that nobody dared to predict but everyone secretly hoped to hear. We chased every whisper, sifted every clue, and, at last, the rumor that streaked across fan circles like a comet has ignited into a blazing, undeniable truth. Yes, it's about Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan and Sıla Türkoğlu, and what we have to confirm will make the whole stage of Turkish showbiz vibrate. If you're discovering us for the first time, don't spend another second in the dark. Tap subscribe and ring that bell, because on Secrets Behind the Stars, you don't just hear the story, you feel it unfold. You're going to want to be first, because tonight's revelation is one for the books. Mark the page, underline the line, and remember the date. January 26, 2026. That's the day the sky of gossip lit up and the conversation turned from guesses to truth. Let's rewind for a moment. For years, fans have watched Halil and Sıla like the most exquisite slow-burn drama, a duet written in glances and careful silences. She, with that effortless elegance that seems to rise from inside out, a performer whose grace travels beyond borders. He, the magnetic lead with a presence that commands every frame, eyes that hint at hidden chapters and bold choices. Together on screen they felt like destiny, an electric chord humming beneath every scene. Off-screen, they moved with quiet caution, letting the speculation swirl while they kept the most precious parts away from the roar of the crowd. And how the crowd roared. Every arrival, every smile, every parallel interview fed a whole universe of theories. Dates were decoded like secret messages. A bracelet here, a lyric there, a mirrored mood in two different posts, fans noticed it all. But tonight isn't about theories. It isn't about echoes and shadows. Tonight is about the moment the curtain lifts, and the truth steps into the spotlight with a heartbeat you can actually hear. What we can say, and we say it with the weight of certainty, is simple in words and colossal in meaning. Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan and Sıla Türkoğlu have chosen a long-term commitment. Don't think small. Don't think casual. Think a decision that stretches into tomorrow, a promise that folds their separate paths into one story thread. This isn't some crisis spin or clever distraction. This is a consolidation, a deepening, a bold turning of the page that leaves behind every flimsy rumor about distance or doubt. It's a step forward, grounded and luminous, the kind that makes even seasoned insiders smile and swallow hard at the same time. The impact was instant. Within minutes of the first hint steering toward confirmation, timelines wavered like heat on summer pavement. The conversation sharpened, then soared. Around the world, fans who grew up watching their rise sent out messages that sounded like fireworks. Stunned joy, careful relief, and those quiet, trembling notes that only true admiration can carry. Colleagues reached out with warm, respectful nods. Industry watchers recalibrated their narratives. And the rest of us held on to that thrumming feeling you get when a story you've loved suddenly blooms into something bigger than you dared to imagine. Now, before we dive any deeper, a note on care. This isn't a moment to pry, it's a moment to honor. Certain details remain private by choice, as they should, because love does its best work in the spaces where the noise can't follow. What we can tell you is that this decision is meaningful and far-reaching, made with intention and maturity. Think of a jewel turned slowly in the light, each facet revealed with patience. That is how this news is arriving, piece by piece, shining all the more because it isn't being thrust into the glare all at once. And when you step back and look at the larger picture, it's impossible not to be moved. Both of them have carved out careers that feel like mountain peaks, earned, steady, built on craft and choices that respect the audience. To take this step now, at such a powerful point in their trajectories, says something about trust. It says they believe in each other more than they fear the noise. It says they have found a rhythm that is theirs alone, and they are willing to protect it while sharing just enough to let the world celebrate with them. Listen closely and you can hear the tone shift, even online. The frantic guessing game has fallen away, replaced by something softer and more grateful. You read the comments and you feel the pulse of a community that watched two artists grow, achieve, and now, unite with intention. People are remembering their favorite scenes, those near-invisible exchanges that hinted at a bond deeper than lines and lights. They are recalling interviews where a small smile said more than a paragraph could. They are writing to one another the way fans do when a dream crosses the bridge into reality. Is this a plot twist? Absolutely, but not the kind that hinges on shock value. It's the kind that arises from character. They have always valued discretion, always moved with care. So it makes perfect sense that the big reveal isn't a spectacle, but a statement. A quiet, certain, beautiful statement that resonates even louder because it isn't shouted. In a world that never stops refreshing, there is something breathtaking about two people who slow down enough to choose each other on their own terms. For Halil, whose intensity can turn a simple frame into a confession, this commitment reads like a vow to guard what matters most. For Sıla, whose grace makes even the smallest gestures feel like poetry, it feels like a promise to nurture the life they are building with artistry and warmth. Together, the message is clear: partnership as a force multiplier, love as a shared horizon, work as a canvas they'll keep painting with courage and heart. What comes next? Expect a new chapter that blends the best of both worlds. Expect collaborations that glow because the trust runs deeper than the script. Expect moments of public sparkle and long stretches of private peace, the sacred quiet that lets a promise grow roots. Expect a patience that confounds cynics and a joy that refuses to dim. If you listen closely, you can hear the future exhale, calm, steady, ready. And yes, the date matters. January 26, 2026 isn't just calendar ink. It's a hinge that swings a story from the maybe to the clearly. We'll mark it the way fans mark first trailers and final bows, the way we mark everything that matters, not just with noise, but with attention. The kind of attention that remembers how we got here, the flawed guesses and the faithful waiting, and honors the moment with gratitude instead of entitlement. In a business where headlines fight for oxygen, this one breathes. It breathes because it's human. It reminds us that behind the glamour and the schedules and the camera angles, there are two people choosing. Two people editing their lives with intention. Two people who understand that what lasts is not the flash, but the flame that's cared for when nobody is looking. We've seen the chatter turn into cheers. We've seen artists and crew members nod with a fond respect. We've seen fans send notes that read like letters to old friends, full of memories and firsts and the simple wish for a good life. And if you're feeling the sting of tears when you least expect it, you are not alone. These are the stories that remind us why we fell in love with stories in the first place. A quick word, because we know you're wondering. No, this isn't about crisis control. No, it isn't a pivot to fix something. It is a decision earned over time, shaped by seasons and tests and the quiet rhythm of two calendars finding each other's pace. That's why it feels so right. That's why you can feel the steadiness under the sparkle. So what does this mean for their careers? Think foundations, not ceilings. A strong personal core lets an artist reach for braver roles, take sharper risks, and return home to a place that steadies the hand. If anything, we expect their work to grow richer, more layered, more willing to whisper when everybody else is shouting. We expect choices that honor the audience and themselves, because that is the path they have walked so far and, it seems, the path they intend to keep. And what does it mean for us? It means we get to watch a story we care about enter its next act. It means we become witnesses, not judges. It means we let the privacy stand where it must and celebrate what is offered with open hands. It means we take a deep breath and allow this moment to glow without pulling it apart for scraps. That's how you love artists well, from the seats, with patience, with joy. The reaction keeps swelling. 1 minute, a quiet nod from a director who has seen it all and still believes in grace. The next, a sweet message from a fan who watched every episode twice and kept a folder of favorite lines for years. These are the threads that become a tapestry. These are the pieces that prove a public life can still hold something tender and true. Let's be honest with each other. We've all been burned by headlines that promised significance and delivered spectacle. But this is different. This is the opposite of loud, because it is grounded. This is not a spotlight storm. It is a morning light you can trust. You can feel the difference, can't you? The shoulders settle. The voice softens. The heart expands. That is the music of a real commitment. There will be practical questions, naturally. Will there be joint appearances? Will there be a project announced with the kind of timing that turns screens into windows? Maybe. Maybe not. That's the quiet power of this chapter. It refuses to dance for the algorithm. What matters is that the decision stands, and it stands on its own. The rest can arrive when it's ready, if it arrives at all, and if it doesn't, the choice is still as beautiful. And so we circle back to where we started, but now the air is different. Tonight, we don't have to chase clues or parse pauses. We have a truth that holds its own weight, a promise that can carry a future. January 26, 2026 enters the lore not as a date for gossip, but as a date for joy, for relief, for that hush that comes when a long-awaited melody finally resolves. Before we sign off, this is your invitation to speak from the heart. Did this revelation surprise you the way it surprised us? Did it feel like an ending, a beginning, or somehow both at once? What do you see for Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan and Sıla Türkoğlu as they step into this new contour of their story? Drop your thoughts with kindness, send your best wishes with honesty, and let's make the comments section a chorus, not a courtroom. And if this moment made you smile, if it steadied you, if it reminded you what real devotion looks like in the glare of 1,000 lenses, give this video a like that comes from the center of your chest. Share it with the friend who guessed this years ago and the friend who swore it could never happen. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars and turn on notifications, so that every time destiny clears its throat, you're here to hear it first. To Halil and Sıla, we send respect. To the fans, we send gratitude. To the story, we send our promise to hold it gently and tell it true. This is not just a headline. It's a hinge, a vow, a fresh page waiting for ink. We're honored to have been with you tonight as the words were written. We'll be right here for the next scene, ready to listen, ready to feel, ready to celebrate what deserves to be celebrated. Until then, breathe in this light. Keep the good rumors simple, keep the wild ones in the drawer, and remember what matters: talent, courage, and the steady choosing of a shared path. On this night that will be remembered, on this date that will be quoted, love did not hide or hedge. It stood up. It spoke softly. And the world, for a moment, grew quiet enough to hear. This is Secrets Behind the Stars, where every reveal is a heartbeat and every heartbeat is a story. We'll see you soon.